Master's prayer to Divine Mother. A lamp was lighted on the west porch. The master sat there a few minutes, chanting, Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om, and other mystic syllables of the Tantra. Presently he returned to his room and sat on the small couch. Facing the east, he was still completely absorbed in divine fervor. He said to the Divine Mother, Mother, that I should first speak and you then act. Oh, that's nonsense. What is the meaning of talk? It is nothing but a sign. One man says, I shall eat. Again, another says, no, I won't hear of it. Well, Mother, suppose I had said I would not eat. Wouldn't I still feel hungry? Is it ever possible that you should listen only when one prays aloud and not when one feels an inner longing? You are what you are. Then why do I speak? Why do I pray? I do as you make me do. Oh, what confusion! Why do you make me reason? As Sri Ramakrishna was thus talking to God, the devotees listened wonder-struck to his words. The master's eyes fell upon them. Master, to the devotees, one must inherit good tendencies to realize God. One must have done something, some form of tapasya, either in this life or in another. When Draupadi's clothes were being taken off, she cried earnestly, praying to God. God revealed himself to her and said, try to remember whether you have ever made a gift of a cloth to anyone. Then your modesty will be preserved. Draupadi replied, yes, I remember now. Once a rishi was taking his bath when his loin cloth was carried away by the current. I tore off half my cloth and gave it to him. Thereupon the Lord said, then you have nothing to fear. M. was sitting on the small foot rug. Master, to M. You have understood what I said. Yes, sir. You spoke about inherent tendencies. Master, repeat what I said. M. repeated the story of Draupadi. Hasra entered the room. He had been living with Sri Ramakrishna in the temple garden for the past 2 years and had first met the master in 1880 at Sahor in the house of Raide, the master's nephew. Hasra's native village was near Sahor, and he owned some property there. He had a wife and children and also some debts. From youth he had felt a spirit of renunciation and sought the company of holy men and devotees. The master had asked him to live with him at Dakshineswar and looked after his necessities. Hasra's mind was a jumble of undigested religious moods. He professed the path of knowledge and disapproved of Sri Ramakrishna's attitude of bhakti and his longing for the young devotees. Now and then he thought of the master as a great soul. But again he slighted him as an ordinary human being. He spent much of his time in telling his beads, and he criticized Rakal and the other young men for their indifference to the practice. He was a strong advocate of religious conventions and rules of conduct, and made a fad of them. He was about 38 years old. As Hasra came in, the master became a little abstracted and in that mood began to talk. Master, to Hasra, what you are doing is right in principle, but the application is not quite correct. Don't find fault with anyone, not even with an insect. As you pray to God for devotion, so also pray that you may not find fault with anyone. Hasra, does God listen to our prayer for bhakti? Master, surely, I can assure you of that 100 times. But the prayer must be genuine and earnest. Do worldly-minded people weep for God as they do for wife and children? At Kamarpukur the wife of a certain man fell ill. The man thought she would not recover. He began to tremble and was about to faint. Who feels that way for God? Hasra was about to take the dust of the master's feet. Master, shrinking. What is this? Hasra, why should I not take the dust of his feet who has so kindly kept me with him? Master, satisfy God and everyone will be satisfied. If he is pleased, the world is pleased. Once the Lord ate a few greens from Draupadi's cooking pot, and said, ah, I am satisfied. Immediately the whole world and all its living beings were satisfied. They felt as if they had eaten their fill. But was the world satisfied, or did it feel that way when the rishis ate their food? To Hazra, a perfect soul, even after attaining knowledge, practices devotions or observes religious ceremonies to set an example to others. I go to the Kali temple and I bow before the holy pictures in my room. Therefore others do the same. Further, if a man has become habituated to such ceremonies, he feels restless if he does not observe them. One day I saw a sannyasi under the banyan tree. He had put the salagram on the same carpet with his guru's sandals. He was worshipping them. I said to him, "If you have attained knowledge to that extent, then why such formal worship at all?" He replied, "What difference does it make? Since I do everything else, why not this too? Sometimes I offer the flowers at the Guru's feet and sometimes to God." One cannot renounce work. As long as one has a body, as long as there is mud at the bottom of the lake, bubbles will be produced.